All right, everybody. Today we're going to do IXL letters D.4, D.5, and D.6. Divide multi-digit numbers by one-digit numbers. We're going to start with word problems. So in this first case, we have a parking lot for a new restaurant. It's going to have 54 parking spaces. If each row can have 6 parking spaces, how many rows will the parking lot need? All right. They have 54 parking spaces. If each row can have 6 parking spaces, how many rows? Okay, so we're trying to see how many rows are going to be in this lot if they have 54 spaces. So 54, so how many groups of 6 go into 54? Let's do this. So this would be 54 divided by 6. And I'm going to ask myself, okay, how many groups of 6 go into 54? Okay, how many groups of 6 go into 5? 0. How many groups of 6 go into 54? Well, I know 6 times 10 is 60, so 9 times 6 is 54. So this is going to be 9. 9 times 6 is 54. We have no remainders. So how many rows? That would be 9. All right, next one. Shaw Accounting wants to buy 72 chocolate truffles for a party. If there are 6 truffles in each box, how many boxes of truffles should the company buy? Okay, so how many groups of 6 go into 72? Well, I can just do this. 6. How many groups of 6 go into 72? Well, I know 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 11 is 66. So this would be 6 times 12. 6 times 12 is 72. And that would be 0 left. We could have done this another way. We could have said 6 goes into 7 once. 1 times 6 is 6, and we could have brought it down. I can show you that really quick. So 6 goes into 7 one time. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract. 7 times minus 6 is 1. Bring down. 6 goes into 12 2 times. 2 times 6 is 12. Subtract. No remainders. Okay? So we get 12. All right, let's do one more here. Mr. Trevino has 32 rubber stamps. He wants to give the same number of stamps to each of his 8 students. So each student's going to get an equal amount. How many rubber stamps will each student receive? Okay, so how many groups of 8 go into 32? Well, I can say 32 over 8, right? How many groups of 8 go into 32? Okay, well, 8 goes into 32. Does 8 go into 3? No. 8 go into 32? Well, half of 32 is 16. I know 8 goes into 16 twice, so this has to be 4. 8 times 4 is 32. 4 times 8 is 32. So divide, right? Multiply, subtract, bring down, but we have no remainders, so we don't need to do that yet. So 4 rubber stamps. 4 rubber stamps go to each group. All right, let's move on. I'm going to go on to the next group of exercises here. So I guess you could pause the video there, or you can just watch me give examples of all these and then do them and revisit if you need. So this is D5, divide by one-digit numbers. Now this is where it gets fun because we get to interpret remainders. So this is where we're really starting to get into the interesting nature of this. The school party committee has $73 to buy ice cream. Each carton of ice cream cost $5. After buying as many cartons of ice cream as they can, how much money will the committee have left over? Okay, so how many groups of 5 go into 73? So 73 divided by 5. Okay, so 5 goes into 73 how many times? Now, you might know this mental math. That's cool. But I want to show it to you this way as well, because basically what we're doing was we're building up, okay? We're going to get into larger and larger numbers and eventually decimal places. So it's a good habit to get into setting up the standard algorithm, okay? Even if you know how many times 5 goes into 73. So let's check this out. 5 goes into 7 one time. Let's see, okay. 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract. 7 minus 5 is 2. Bring down the 3. Now we work with the 23. 23 divided by 5 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Subtract. We have 3 left over. Now, 3 divided by 5. I can't do that. So in this case, this is when you end up with a decimal number, okay? But we're not doing decimals right now. So we have a remainder of 3, okay? This is a remainder of 3. But what does this really mean? This really means 3 divided by 5. Well, how do we show 3 divided by 5? We show 3 divided by 5 like this. 3 divided by 5. So a remainder of 3, 14 remainder of 3, is equivalent to 14 and 3/5. Okay, so that's how you get the mixed number out of that. But they're just asking what's the remainder. Okay, so we really just have a remainder of $3 in this case. Okay, if we wanted to go equal amounts, then it would be 3/5 of one grouping. But just want to show you that. So we got $3 left over here. All right, next one. Oakdale Furniture needs to ship 87 couches across the country. If they can fit 5 couches in each truck, how many couches will be in the partially full truck? Okay, so 5, 87. So how many groups of 5 go in 80? This is 87 divided by 5. How many groups of 5 go into 87? Get in the habit of writing these. 5 goes into 8 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3. Bring down. How many groups of 5 go into 37? 5 times 7 is 35. So 7 times 5 is 35. Subtract. And we have 2. This is a remainder of 2. Okay, so that's what we're going to write. But this is also saying, well, if you have 2 left over, this is really 2, and then would be divide by 5, right? To continue this number to get it going. So this is really 17 and 2/5, or a remainder of 2. Okay, so 17 remainder of 2, or 17 and a remainder of 2/5, because you just keep dividing. Okay, and soon we're going to have a decimal here, and I'm going to teach you how that goes. So that's what this is all leading up to. So we have a remainder of 2. Okay, let's do one more here. A boy at an amusement park has 66 ride tickets. Each ride on the roller coaster costs 8 tickets. After riding the roller coaster as many times as he can, how many tickets will the boy have left? Okay, so he has 66 tickets, and it's 8 tickets to ride. How many will he have left if he uses them all on this ride? As many as he can. So 66, what do we have? We have 66 divided by 8. Okay, so how many groups of 8 go into 66? So we look at the largest place value first. 6 divided by 8, we can't do that. Sometimes it helps if you want, you can put a 0 there, but you don't need to then just go through the whole thing. You can just put a 0 there to do a placeholder. So now we move into 66. How many groups of 8 go into 66? Well, 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 8, 64. That gets us close. You want to get as close as you can. Remember, it doesn't have to go in evenly. just as close as you can. So 8 groups of 8 gets us close to 66. 8 times 8 is actually 64. Okay, so we divide. 66 divided by 8. We multiply. 8 times 8 is 64. Then we subtract, and we have 2 left over. Okay, that's a remainder of 2. Now, what this really means, a remainder of 2, what that really means is 8 and 2/8. Right? So he has 2 tickets left over. If we wanted a decimal, 8 and 2/8, well, 2/8 is equivalent to 1/4, and 1/4 as a decimal is equivalent to 0.25. Right? So if we were trying to see how many tickets, if it went evenly, it'd be 8.25. But we're not there yet. Just want to, you don't need all this, okay? We'll get there. So 8 and 2 left over. So 2 tickets he has left over. All right. I think you guys can grasp that. Let's move on to the next one. So we're going to do D6 now. Get ready. Division patterns over increasing place values. Okay, so this is just helping you recognize place values and how it affects single-digit numbers, right? So what divided by 4 gives 6? Okay, so how many groups of 6 do we need for something to divide 4 to get 6? Well, all this means is what is 6 times 4, right? Either 4 groups of 6 or 6 groups of 4, and that'll let us know what our answer is. So what times 4? Well, 6 times 4 is 24, so that would give us 6. So this would have to be 24 divided by 4 gives us 6. Now, what divided by 4 would give us 6,000? Well, if I know 24 divided by 4 gives me 6, then what would I have to do here to get 6,000? Well, we just need 3 place values, right? We have 3 place values in 6,000, so we're just going to put 3 place values in our, I guess it would be our dividend there. And in this case, we have 6 million. So we know that 6 or 24 divided by 4 is 6. So we're going to start from a place of 24. And then how many place values are we going to have to the right of that? Well, it looks like 6. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So 24 million divided by 4 gives us 6 million. Okay? And if this started with the 6 million, what divided by 4 gives you 6 million? Just look at the 6 in the millions place. 6 times 4 is 24, so 6 million times 4 would be 24 million. Okay, it's all about place value. 6 in the millions place, right? 6 million times 4 is 24 millions. 24 million. Boom. Okay, let's do one more here. 16 divided by 2. Oh, they're giving it to us now. All right, so how many groups of 16? How many groups of 2 go into 16? Well, we know that's 8. Now, 16 divided by 2,000. 16,000 divided by 2,000. They both have the same amount of zeros. So this is also going to be 8 because 8 groups of 2,000 gives us 16,000, right? 160,000 divided by 20,000. I notice how both numbers have 4 zeros in them. So can we just say 16 divided by 2 is 8? And then we have 4 zeros. So is this going to be 80,000 or 8,000? What do you guys think? What makes sense? 80,000 would be 4 zeros, right? But this is saying 160,000. So even though both numbers have 4 zeros, I don't want 4 zeros here. Okay, 160,000 divided by 20,000. Oh, I'm going to look at the 20,000 here. What times 2 gives me 16? Well, that would be 8. So 8 sets of 20,000. 8 times 20 is 160. So I think this is also just 8. Okay? Hopefully you guys are getting the hang of this. Have fun. I'll see you around the bend.